So now we're going to create chat buttons, and then as well we'll create service present status for Live Agent. So first off, to create chat buttons for Live Agent, we need to get a couple of images from some online resource. So you could go to like Google Images and just search for online or offline chat and save a couple of images locally to your machine. And I'll demonstrate this here in a moment, not going to Google and searching for images, but I've grabbed a couple and you'll see those here in a moment. And then once you've got your images though, you'll want to go to Setup and search for Static Resources. And so click on Static Resources, and we're going to upload those images that you just downloaded and saved locally. You're going to upload those to Static Resources so that Salesforce can use those in your instance here. So we're going to click New, and this first image we're going to do is the online status. And so we're going to make this public for cache control and click Choose File. And so you navigate to your local hard drive and select your online image that you saved, and then click Save. And so I'm going to click View File to show you that online image that I have here. And I found this all over the place online, so I'm not sure who the original creator is. You can actually see my mouse kind of sneaking into the screen capture here, so there's a little bit of residual effect, but it's okay for our demonstration purposes. So I've accidentally made my own original version. So anyway, let me close that out. So that's my online static resource. And so I'm going to go back and create a new static resource for offline, set it to public as well, and choose another local file that I've saved. So you see here that I've selected my offline file. And so I'm going to click Save, and I'll show you what that looks like by clicking View File. So we've got our images uploaded as static resources, but we're not done yet. Now what we need to do is we need to create the chat buttons in Live Agent. So let's search for chat button in Setup, and under chat buttons and invitations, click that link in Setup. And now to create these chat buttons, we're going to click New, and for the type we're going to select chat button. For the name for this chat button, we're going to call this technical support. Then we'll tab out of this field to fill in the developer name, and then for the language we'll select English. We're going to check enable customer timeout. And then we're going to set the customer timeout seconds to 180 seconds, and then we're going to give a warning to the customer at 120 seconds. So that after 2 minutes of inactivity, they'll have a warning that in another minute they're going to be timed out. You can specify a custom agent name, but I'm going to leave that blank, and then I'm just going to do an auto greeting here. And as well, you can use merge fields here if you want to customize this further and pull in data from different records inside your Salesforce instance. Now we get into the routing information, and it's here we can do a routing type of least active agent or most available agent so that we can select a skill here. This is technical support chat, so we're going to select the support skill and move it over. And so now in order to use our other buttons that we just created as static resources, we need to go ahead now and set up this force.com site. And so in order to go further, I want to go ahead and save what we have, and then we'll come back in and edit to do these chat button customizations. So click Save. And so now we've saved our progress so far, and it's also generated our chat button code. I want to go ahead and grab this as well. I encourage you to save this as well in a text file. If you remember, you previously pasted your deployment information. It might be good to make note of what's what in your text file. So I'm making a note of what my deployment code was, and then I'm pasting in this new code. And remember, this is for our chat buttons and automated invitations. This is for our chat buttons. Now, what we're going to do is click Edit. We've got to set up a force.com site in order to use our static resources for our images. I know this is a lot to keep track of, and we're covering a lot of ground, but try your best to follow along, or at least the logic of it, and in the end we should have some sort of functioning chat usability in Live Agent in our own Salesforce org, and you'll have hands-on experience with this. And so what you need to do is you need to specify a domain name, and this is like a subdomain, and they give an example of mycompany.force.com. And here I'm on the NA73 server for Salesforce. That's North American 73, which is a developer org. And it has this -developer-edition subdomain. And so I'm going to add to that and check for the availability. I'm just going to put Mike Wheeler here. and check availability, and it is available. So I'm going to say that I've read and accepted the terms and registered my own force.com domain. So I do want you to give some thought about what you select here if you are following along, because you can secure this subdomain in your own free developer account. And so don't just put gibberish here, and it does have to be unique, so that's why you've got to check availability. So I'm going to click OK, and so now it's registering that. So I'm going to make a note of this as well in my notepad. So now that we've secured our subdomain name, we now need to finish the process of creating the site by clicking New down here. And you can create multiple sites hanging off of your subdomain. And we're going to create a site now, and I'll call this support. And then the default web address, I'll put in the word support after the slash. So this is our domain name /support. I'm going to make this active. Then I need to select an active site homepage. So there's different Visualforce pages that are already in your developer org. I'm going to click the lookup window and select one of these pages. Now, there's not a whole lot of home pages here. Ideally, you would probably customize your own Visualforce page, but for sake of time, I'm just going to select one of these home pages that is here, and we can customize this later if we need to. So I'm just going to select Ideas Home. This is the default Force.com home page for Ideas sites. So I'm going to click Ideas Home. We can set some of these other settings, but I'm going to leave them alone and click Save. So we'll just keep the rest of the defaults. So we've set a site home page. And I'm making a note as well in my text file for what I named that home page. And so it was /support in this instance. And so here are our site details. Now, what we need to do is we need to go back to our chat buttons and invitations link and setup and go to technical support and click edit. And so now that we have a site created, we can specify a site for resources in the chat button customization section of the chat buttons and automated invitations page. So I'm going to click on the lookup here for site for resources, and it pulls up my support site that I just created in the search results. So I'm going to fill that in there. And now we can finally select the online and offline images. And just a reminder, just find something online to use. You can do other things like do a custom chat page, pre-chat forms, and post-chat pages and URLs. We're not going to do any of that at this point. Just click Save. Now we've created our online and offline chat buttons.